Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We are in Baku, Azerbaijan, and this is the first race of the 2016 Formula Europe Championship. It's going to be the first of 6 races that will crown the Formula Europe 2016 champion. There are so many things that are new this year, but the first one is that I have to present to all of you my sparring partner tonight and the man that will be right here with me for all the championship, for all of those 6 races. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alessandro.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Alessandro here. I'll be the co-commentator tonight and for the rest of the season, along with Fleming, and I hope your season is going to be as exciting as mine.
Thank you so much, Alessandro. As I told you before, we're going to have a lot of things to talk about, but the qualifying session is already on the way. There are 14 minutes to go to the end of the session, and we still have different drivers on track. There is a big shot player from Greece who's representing Apex Online Racing that is on track with a 45.5 in the first sector. Stig from Poland do something a little bit better, a 45.4, but it's just the beginning of the session, and we're gonna see some major improvement from here till the end of this qualifying session. Let's see what's new in this championship. Last year we had 4 teams who participated in the championship. Now we have 8 teams, but look at this, with super soft tire, Nicky set the fastest time of the session. It's the first lap, but Big Shot do something better, do a 1:40.8, that is 2/10 better than the time set by Nicky. Both drivers have set their time on the super soft tires. It's 30 minutes till the end of the session, and Renegade for Italian VS do a 1:40.9, 1:41.2 for Stig, and we have 4 drivers who have currently set a fast time, but no, Mark set a new pole position, 1:40.7. As looking at the drivers, they are all trying to qualifying with a super soft tire in their first attempt.
Yes, there's an exception for RBO 00, which is qualifying with a soft tire, which is not going that fast, but since are the first races of the qualification phase, we cannot say how it's going to be.
Well, I gotta tell you, by the difference of time that there is between the two different compounds of tires, the time set by Airboss isn't so slow, because he is half a second from the pole position set by F1 Racing Mark, and for what I know, the soft tires compared to the super soft tires have at least 7/10 of differential, so it can be maybe a couple of tenths faster if you go on the super soft tire.
Yeah, meanwhile we saw Shalazas is qualifying behind RBOs, supporting your thesis that with the soft tire you can go as fast as the super soft. Just see, it's a matter of degrading tires, so we're gonna see till the end of the session to see who's gonna score the fastest lap.
Okay, talking about the new things that we have in this championship, we have 4 new teams who subscribed their drivers to the championship. The first team coming from England is Apex Online Racing. You all know which kind of site they are. They are already participating in the All-Star race a couple of months ago, and now they decided to subscribe their team to the championship, and tonight they are represented by Big Shot Player and Arbos 00. One more new team that we have this year coming from Italy is Italian VS, that tonight is represented by Renegade 37 and by Nikki 312 T2. Then Then we also have another team that come from Italy that is in its first championship this year, and I'm talking about F1 racing drivers that tonight is represented by F1 Racing Danny 92 and F1 Racing Mark, that is currently the leader of the standing with 140.723, 1/10 faster than Big Shot, that now is again on track. He's improved his time and is just 1/10 away from the pole position. Then the last new team we have this year is a team that come from Netherlands. They also participate as Apex Online Racing at the All-Star race, and I'm talking about Race Stars, that tonight is represented by Tip Fire and by, let me check the list, Banana Man 2. 9 minutes, 50 seconds to go till the end of the session, and we take a look at the standing with Danny 92 that grab for less than 1/10 of a second the pole position with 140.673, and he set the fastest time in sector 3. Then we still have to see what the drivers from F1 Italian team will do, but look at F1 Italian Prost, a mirable 44.9 in the first sector. He is the fastest driver. He gained nearly 7/10 of a second on the pole position only in the first sector of the track. And now let's see what's he gonna do. Sebastian 45.2. He is not at in the same league of Prost, but he's anyway faster than the pole position, and yes, he got it. Yes, he got it. Sebastian 140.5, just a little bit more than 1/10 of a second faster than Danny, and he got the pole position time. Now let's see what Prost going to do.
Yeah, I can see
sector.
that Prost is going way faster than the other competitors. He set 2 Fuchsias in the first and the second sector. And the pole is his.
Yes, it's a 140.2. No one actually have beaten the wall of the minute and 40 second. We're gonna see if there's gonna be some drivers able to do a time under the minute and 40 second, but maybe we're going to see, as I told you before, some improvement at the end of the session. Let's see if there are some drivers more on track by now. We have Danny, he's on track, but I think that he's on as low as lap, so yes, he's just going back to the pit. 7 minutes and 45 seconds to the end of the session. So we're checking to the standings. We have F1 Italian team who is leading the way by grabbing the first row with Prost 140.2 and Sebastian 140.5. Then we have Danny and Mark from F1 Racing, fifth place for Big Shot with 140.8. Then we have Italian VS Renegade 6/10 away from the pole position, 140.9. Nicky is in 7th, Stig 8, Arbos in 9th position, but he is still on soft tires. He is 1 second away from the pole position set by Prost. Then Gae from, we have a little improvement from Big Shot that is now in P4, 4/10 away from the pole position, and just 20 of a second away from the third place of Danny 92. 140.6 by Big Shot, that is, as I told you, now in P4, but Stig, look at this, 140.1, and Stig from Poland grabbed the pole position. He got 1/10 faster than Prost.
And they also have the same time in the sector 3, so it's going to be a pretty good time of the race, that sector 3, you know.
Well, let's see what's gonna happen in this last 6 minutes of the session. We have a driver from we have a driver from Poland in the pole position, then Prost second, Sebastian third, but I'm sure we're gonna see so many more improvements in this final part of the session. Let's see, we have Banana Man in his first lap. It's a 45.8 in the first sector, then 31.8. He's improving. He's improving his performance, but he's still on soft tire. So I think he wanna try a different strategy for the first stint of the race. Let's see what the time of Banana Man is going to be. Right on the finish line, it's a 1:42.0. He is still in 12th, 1 second point 8 from the pole position. Even Davidos is on his fastest lap. 45.8, he's on super soft. 45.8 in the first sector. He's on the same time he said it before on the soft tire, but 31.7 is in the second sector. He is 0.8 of a second faster than his previous time. Let's see what's he gonna do. He's on the final straight, and you can see how long he's the final straight here in Baku. It's a very atypical circuit. Let's see, it's a 1:41.3. He is 10th with the time, 1.1 from the pole position. We have Danny 92 on track, and Prost and Savastan are still waiting to go out on track. Danny 92 is actually in P4. His teammate is in P6, it's Mark, and they are pretty on the same time, 1:40.6 for Danny 92, 1:40.7 for Mark. And Danny 92 is about to begin his hot lap with 3 minutes and 55 seconds till the end. I'm sure that the grip on the track now can be surely better than in the beginning of the session. Good exit, good traction out of turn 1, turn 2, and he opened the DRS again on this long straight that will brought into turn 3. It's a very difficult turn. You have to be very careful to the wall on the inside. Turn 4. Let's see, it's a pretty good lap. He didn't make any kind of mistake, but let's see, he set a 45.6 in the first sector before. Now it's a 45.4. He's already improving his time, and let's see what's he going to do by the end of this lap. Look at how much he was close to the wall here, and even here he almost lost the control of his car just for a bit. And now even Prost and Savastan are back on track with their Ferraris. 31.7, yes, he is gaining on his time. I think that he will improve himself, but now he's not on the same time of Savastan. He don't have the same pace. Let's see what's he going to do. He's using his teammate to gain time, and not enough. He's still fourth with 1:41.3. He lost so many time in the last sector. And now let's take a look to Prost. Prost that is just right now on the finish line. His teammate Savastan, he's about to approach turn number 5 and 6. And then after this corner he will reach the first sector. Let's see, 45.2, 45.1. Yes, he's improving himself. Libero 1:41.1, now he's reached P9.
Meanwhile, Nicky 3012 T2 set the fastest time in Sector 2. He has a lot of downforce, and it's gonna be pretty interesting in that phase of the race.
He got P4 with that, with a 1:40.6. and he's still pushing. Sebastian 31.7 is just a little bit slower than before, but Prost 44.9 is still in space. He's trying to get the job done to reach the pole position again. Let's see Sebastian, what's he gonna do? He's right on the finish line, and he's still third, 140.4. He improved himself, but it's not enough. Now Prost 31.4. He is just on the same time set by Stig. Let's see what's gonna happen with Prost right on the finish line. 144.1. Yes, 140.0. Yes, he got it. Yes, he got it. 1/10 of a second faster than Stig, and he reached the pole position again. Let's see if there's so many players trying to set their fastest lap in the end of the session.
It's important to say that he set his lap with 3 laps, so he's gonna have some pretty degraded tires for the start of the race. But still, what a pole position!
You're talking about Prost, yes?
Yeah, I think so. Or at least
I do believe that he used 3 different tires. So he set this time on a brand new super soft tire. That's what I think, because this is a race where the tire wear is pretty much, so you have to be careful to do more than 1 hot lap with the same compound. Now there is F1 Racing Mark, who have Danny 92 right behind him. He is also trying to improve himself, but let's see what's he gonna do. Anyway, we have to do a recap of the standing. We have Stig, Prost, Sebastian, Nicky, Danny, Big Shot, Mark, Renegade, Libero, Airboss, but now we go in. We have a little space for a little way from our sponsor, and we're going to be back soon with the race. And so we are back live. The cars are now in the warm-up lap, and look at that. We have pretty good news that we weren't able to show at the end of the qualifying session. Stig has reached the pole position again with the soft tires, as I'm looking by now. So we're gonna have Stig in P1 with Prost second, Mark third, Savastan in fourth. Third row for Nicky and Danny 92. In fourth row with P7 for Big Shot Player and P8 for Renegade 37. Then we have Libero, Albos, Davidos, Simugae, Shalazaskwa, Banana Man, Listek, and Timid Fire that is in the last position. So we are just waiting for the red lights to turn on. And then we're gonna see the beginning of this championship. Yes, 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. The lights out in Baku. The Formula Europe 2016 has started right now with the Stig that is trying to save, and now he go wide and he lost so many positions. Stig lost everything he got with the pole position. So Prost, and there are so many fights right behind there with the Toro Rosso and a Red Bull next to each other at turn 2. So Prost is leading the race. Prost get the lead in front of Mark. Then we have Savastan, Nicky, Danny 92, Stig, Big Shot Player, Renegade, Big Shot, Libero, Stig, and then all the others. But what a sickening start from Stig, that he lost everything he gained with the pole position, and he's been disqualified. What's he done? What did he done? Stig has been disqualified from the session, and this is our first very big surprise. I don't know what they have done to deserve a disqualification. I gotta check the race director to make sure. Oh, maybe he got a contact with F1 Racing Danny 92, and when he tried to rejoin the track, he been disqualified by the game for wrong direction. That's what happened. So we are at the end of the first lap. It's gonna be the first of 51 long laps. Prost is leading the race, Mark second, Savastan is third, and we have Nicky in fourth position. The first 4 are far from the rest of the group. Oh, Banana Man! Banana Man, what happened? I don't know if he crashed against the wall. We can't find his car. Safety car! Safety car is being developed by the race director, so for sure Banana Man has lost the control of his car in the last sector, and he destroyed the car. So the safety car is being deployed at the end of the first lap. So let's check now that we are a little bit more calm now. Prost is first ahead of Mark, Savastan, Nicky 312 T2, Renegade 37 P5. In 6 we have our boss with the soft tires. Such a good start for our boss to gain different position, several position after the start of the race.
Our boss was attacking Renegade before the safety car. He was trying to dive on the inside at the end of the main straight.
Oh yeah. Then after our boss we got Liberos in 7th, Davidos 8th, Gaia in P9, and Sharon Sasqua closing the top 10 with the soft tires in P10. Then we have Timid Fire in P11, P12 for Listek, and P13 for Big Shot Player who's gone to the pit with Danny 92. Big Shot have chosen the medium tires and Danny 92 the soft tires. We already have 2 retires from the race. Banana Man have crashed this Force India into a wall and caused the safety car that now we are waiting to leave the group in the next several laps. and Stig F1 PL, that after get the pole position, he have gone wild in the he got wide in the first turn. He lost several positions. He was in the center of the group. Then he had a crash with Danny 92, and when he tried to rejoin the track, he's been disqualified by the game for wrong direction. That is what happened. So the cars are now, as I told you, under safety car. We have the two Ferrari of F1 Italian team. F1 Italian team who won the championship last year in front of F1 Simu, the French team. But now there are so many more rivals. And here it is. Look at the safety car. It is right down the straight. And now the safety car have been reached by the rest of the group, who's led by Prost with the Ferrari. Then we have Mark in P2. And let's see which kind of race it is going to be. I don't know if we're gonna have some rain here, because actually the sky here is pretty cloudy. So I think we're gonna have at least 3 laps behind the safety car. And now Banana Man left the session. Not the perfect start of the season for this driver. Well, after all, this is not a pretty easy track to race. You have to be very careful. The walls are just next to your tires when you exit the corners and when you go right through the apex. And let's see also what's going to happen to the strategies, because this lap under the safety car are surely helping the drivers who are on the super soft tires, that can now save a little bit more their tires, trying to go as longer as they can in this first stint of the race. So it's just like we have seen what happened in the first lap. I remind you, we saw Banana Man goes right in the wall, causing the safety car to come out. And then the disqualification for Stig for wrong direction. Disqualification given by the game when he was trying to rejoin the track after a crash with Danny 92. Danny 92 then he is now in the bottom of the group. Actually he's on P12, and he have also chose the soft tires after his pit stop. In front of him he have Big Shot Player, that he is representing Apex Online Racing, but he is from Greece, and he choose the medium tires. So he is gonna try to go as long as he can with this set of tires, and then try to overtake the other drivers when they're gonna make their stop, because they are for sure with softer tire than him. In fact, by now no one in the grid have chose the medium tires by now, so he's the only one on this compound. Fourth lap on 51, and we are still under safety car with the two Ferrari of Prost and Savastan in P1 and P2. They are just making a sandwich with a Red Bull driven by Mark. So by now we have all the drivers from P1 to P5 are on super soft tires. Then we have our boss on soft tires. Libero, Davidos and Gae are on super soft. All the others, only Shalazakwa and Listek, are also on super soft tires. Then we have our boss on soft tires, the same as Tibet Fire. then 92, and medium tires for Big Shot Player.
And the race is starting again. The safety car got back into the pits, so it's gonna be the last lap on the safety car.
Prost is just about to decide when to accelerate again to restart the race. As you see, the straight is pretty long.
No,
let's see what Prost gonna do. Oh, yes, we go again. Yes, we go again. But look at Mark. He's right in the back of Prost, and he's gonna try to attack the Ferrari driver. Yeah, look at them. They are side by side on the main straight. Prost have a little bit more of Apex's speed.
And Mark tried to dive on the inside, but
he's trying everything he can now, because maybe he knows that Prost has a better pace. Mark, they are again side by side, and Prost resists again on the outside. But look at Savastan right behind them. Mark have to be careful even to him. Behind our boss have lost one position. He lost a position to Libero, and his Renault that is now P6 trying to catch Renegade 37 in P5. So the group is pretty compact by now after the restart. This is lap number 5 on 51. As I told you before, the sky is pretty cloudy, so I hope for the drivers that the rain is not going to come, because driving the rain here is very, very difficult, I gotta tell you. Oh, look at this Big Shot Player! Big Shot Player! He lost his front wing. He is in the bottom of the group, and he lost his front wing. Maybe a contact with someone. We didn't see that contact, but something happened again to Big Shot Player. A very unfortunate beginning of the season for the driver of Apex Online Racing. Now only another safety car will save him.
Meanwhile,
to rejoin the group.
Prost set the fastest lap of the race so far, trying to escape from Mark, which is following by only half a second, and from Sebastian, which follows of 1.9 seconds in P3.
Well, I have seen different pieces of some cars in the exit of turn 1, so maybe the accident for Big Shot Player was at turn 1, maybe a contact with some other drivers, and now he's changing his front wing, and he goes again out on track. Now he is all alone, and he's on soft tires. Prost is followed by Mark, that is pretty close by now. Meanwhile, Savastan is still in P3, but he have to look behind himself, because he have the Toro Rosso of Nikki that is pretty close by now, and the race director will reactivate the DRS in this lap, at the end of this lap. So Prost is leading the race. He's concluding this lap number 6. It seems like he have a bit more of top speed at the end of the main straight compared to Mark. So let's see which are the
fastest lap for Prost.
Yes, he said a 1:44.0, Mark 1:44.2, Savastan 44.7, Nikki 45.0. And look at behind, Libero is trying to catch Renegade, but Toro Rosso, it seems a little bit faster than him. Behind Savastan, the group is pretty much compact by now. They are pretty close to each other, not enough to try to overtake the driver that is behind, that is in front, but they are pretty close. It seems like Mark and Prost now, it seems like they have a faster pace compared to the others.
Yeah, meanwhile, in this sector, Prost looks like he's going faster because in sector 3, Mark is only less than a second, around 0.7, 0.9 from Prost, while here it's more than a second, so maybe he's not going to get into the DRS zone for this lap.
Yes, Prost is slipping away. Yes, so look at this. 1.5 seconds again, half a second in the second sector to Mark. And now Mark is surely out of the DRS zone in this lap. But behind, take a look to Niki that is right in the back of Sebastian. Let's see what's he gonna do. If he can try to overtake him, no. 1:43.3. What a fast lap by Prost. Set it by the leader of the race. Prost set this time, and compared to the lap set by Mark, that is a 1:44.4. He just gained 1.1 only in this lap. We take a look also at the drivers behind, because we have our boss that is struggling behind the Renault of Libero. He's struggling a bit on his soft tires, but tell you what, as I told you before, we had to be very careful with the strategies, because the drivers who are on super soft will surely stop before the drivers that are now on the soft tires, that, as you know, it's a harder compound. For the race of our boss, I think it's it's important for him to overtake this Renault as soon as he can, because I think that in a couple of laps he's going to have a better pace. And behind him we also have, let me see, we have Gae, Timid Fire, Danny 92 and Shalazakwa. They are pretty close. Now Savastan is pulling away some gap from Niki, and it looks like he is lapping a little bit faster than Mark. Let's check this lap. Prost 1:44.0, Mark 1:45.1, compared to the 1:44.1 set by Sebastian, that is his fastest lap by now, and again just 1 second in this lap to Mark. So Mark have to be careful, because it seems like his tires are wearing very faster compared to the two Ferraris. Even Niki 312, he's not on the same pace of Sebastian now. And Prost, look at this, he's really pulling away. He have now 3.2 seconds on Mark. Then he have to be very careful, because right in his back he got Sebastian. And our boss is now pretty close to the Renault of Libero. Let's see if he's going to try to overtake him at the end of the main straight. Now he's very close. He's gonna have the DRS. Meanwhile, Prost is about to conclude another lap. Maybe Sebastian has made a little bit mistake in the last sector, because he lost a little bit of time. He was much closer to Mark. Let's see if our boss can try to overtake Libero. No! He wasn't even able to go side by side with the Renault of the F1 Simu drivers, and he lost just for a second the control of the car. Now let's see what's he gonna do. He is pretty close. He goes on the inside of turn 3, but he goes back in line. There were not enough space to try to overtake Libero in that part of the track. Prost is still pulling away a bit on Mark. 3.7. Oof. Huge control by Niki. Look, we have the sun who's coming out through the clouds, so it looks like it's not going, we're not going to have some rain by now. We can't be sure about that, but if there is some sun, that can be a good thing for the weather. Anyway, Niki is again right in the back of Savastan. That is, seems like he's struggling much more with the tires now. And let's see if he's gonna try to overtake the F1 Italian team drivers on the main straight. Now he's still too far away to overtake him. And our boss finally get the position, but it seems like Libero, and yes, Libero is in the pit. Libero is in the pit, so a pit stop for the Renault, and he goes on soft tires on lap 11, and he got the Toro Rosso of Renegade right behind him. And there's a Mercedes, the Mercedes of Davidos right behind them. He's also on soft tires, and let's see what's gonna happen now. It seems like Davidos don't have enough speed to catch them. But we also have to take a look at this group, because we have Arbos followed by Gae, Timid Fire, and Danny 92. This is a fight from P 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Meanwhile, during the last lap, Renegade hit the wall on the castles, and he lost a lot of time. So now he's behind Libero. He's marking it, and he's gonna try to overtake on the next lap because he's surely in the DRS zone. In the fight for P11.
So Prost is still gaining time. He's pulling away from Mark. In the last lap, he set a 1:44.3 compared to the 1:44.9 set by Mark. He gained 0.6 of a second. And Savastan is still he's still in front of Niki, that is right behind him. By now we are on lap 12 on 51. And now let's see if our boss can pull a little bit away from the Renault of Gae, because it seems like our boss now have a little bit better pace, and he is pulling away the gap on the Renault. And compared to his teammate, Gae is he have already complete a couple of laps more than his teammate. So it looks like his tires are wearing just a little bit less by now. I take a look also at the pace of Big Shot Player just to check him out. He's on the 44.5 on soft tire, which is not a bad pace. Well, as you know, he also have brand new tires on his Sauber. Prost is completing this lap. He's still leading the race, and he's still improving the gap on Mark. That is now 5.2 seconds. Another 0.4 of a second gained by Prost on Mark in this lap. And Savastan is still fighting with Nicky for P3. They can see Mark that is just a little bit farther behind them, in front of them, excuse me. And now, as I told you, our boss is trying to set his pace. He's now on 44.7 on these soft tires. As you know, he started on this compound. He started a race on these tires. 44.7 in the last lap. Compared to the drivers that are in front of them, Prost was a 44.4, 45.2 for Mark, 45.2 even for Savastan, and 44.9 for Nicky. So we have to check what's gonna happen when everyone will make their first stop. Oh, but look at that, because Savastan now have not so large gap on Nicky, but the two Ferrari, it seems like they're really flying on the main straight. Even with the DRS, the other drivers can catch them. And he goes to the pit. Savastan in the pit. So I suppose that Prost is continuing. Yes, so undercut by Mark and Savastan. They are now in the box. Let's see which kind of tires they're gonna choose. Soft tires for Mark and soft tires, yellow tires even for Savastan. Let's see if they're gonna find some traffic in the exit. No, they have free track in front of them, so I'm pretty sure that Prost is going to stop in this lap if he wants to retain his first position without problems. Now Nicky 31.2. He's on second place by now, 8.4 from the leader, that is Prost, and our boss is up in the third after the stop of Savastan and Mark. Now let's see what the driver in the lead is going to do. Prost is just about to reach the pit entrance. Let's see if he is going to do his stop right now. No. Yes, he goes in the box. So let's see which tire is going to choose. I think he's gonna go on the soft tires. And yes, soft tires for Prost. And Nicky is continuing. I don't know if that is going to be the right choice at the end of the race. Our boss is second now. Let's see where Prost is going to exit. Yes, he's far ahead of Mark, and Mark have even two drivers behind him. In front of him, he have Danny 92, his teammate, that is fighting with Timid Fire for P5. But even Prost have the car of Gae in front of him. The Renault of the F1 Simu driver that is actually in P3. So the strategy of the drivers are now almost completed, at least for this first pit stop. Danny 92 is still fighting with Timid Fire. Prost is right in the back of the Renault of Guy 71. Let's see if Guy is going to the pit in this lap, or if Prost will have to overtake the Renault on track. Oh, look at Prost! Look at the speed of the Ferrari! Look at the speed of Prost that overtakes Guy and reach P3 again. Now we have free track in front of him, and we will also be able to see which is gonna be his pace now with these tires. He was the fastest man on track with the super soft tires. Now let's see what's he gonna do on the soft tires in the second stint. It's lap number 16 on 51. The race is still so long, and anything can happen. Here in Baku, it's the first of 6 races of the 2016 Formula Europe Championship. 8 teams from all over Europe facing each other to decide which is the fastest one on the console world in Europe. Look at how fast Prost is pulling away the gap on the Renault of Gae, and if he continue like that, he is going to catch our boss very, very soon. Nicky, we missed the pit stop of Nicky, but look at this battle. We have Danny that is now overtaken by his teammate, that he also tried to overtake the Force India of Timid Fire, and yes, he got it, Mark. And even Danny 92 trying in the inside to overtake Timid Fire, and the 2 Red Bull overtake just in the same straight the Force India of Timid Fire. And Nicky has found himself one more time behind Sebastian, that is now trying to overtake the Mercedes of Shalazak. Wow! Look at the touch between each other at turn 3. Sebastian is pretty much faster, but he don't know where he can overtake. Oh, look at this. It's a pretty difficult situation, and he... Oh, look at the attack by Nicky, and the 2 drivers, Sebastian and Nicky, got the touch, almost engaged their cars at turn number 5 and 6. And look at how many times! Oh! And the Mercedes almost lost the control. No! Look at this, Shalazakwa and Nicky. I don't know if they are both out. No. Nicky have broke his front wing. Virtual safety car. Virtual safety car.
Shalazakwa left the session, so
yeah.
I think
Shalazakwa destroyed the car at turn 8. Awful crash, and Nicky destroyed his front wing. You can see his the right part of his front wing gone after the contact that caused the race to Shalazakwa. As I told you just a couple of seconds before, it was a pretty dangerous situation.
There's a big chunk of the front wing missing, so he's gonna try to replace it, but he's gonna lose so much time. Maybe
the virtual safety car is gonna help him, because the virtual safety car gives the drivers a delta time to maintain, so they have to be slower than during the race. So Shalazakwa is out. Shalazakwa is out, so F1 Poland team have only the Mercedes of Davidos still representing them in the race. Let's see which tire Nicky will choose.
Nicky goes in with a super soft, so he's going to
and a new front wing.
Yeah.
It's 13th. 13. He's in the bottom of the group. Only Big Shot, no, even Big Shot is in front of him, so he's the last in line. And the virtual safety car, look at how many pieces in turn 8 after the crash of Shalazakwa and Nikki. As I told you before, there are so many things that can happen here. And our boss have used the virtual safety car to do his stop, his pit stop, and he is now on new super soft tires. But he is behind Timid Fire. Let's see if he's going to be able to overtake him right now. It seems like with these tires he's pretty much faster than the Force India driver. And I think it's going to be just a matter of time. Now he's pretty close. He opened the DRS right now. He tried to go on the inside. Let's see who is going to brake later. And our boss is in the inside, and yes, he got it. Our boys take P3 on Timid Fire. And now let's see which kind of pace he is going to have. Meanwhile, Prost is still leading the race with a 7.2 second gap on Mark. Let's see which is the pace of F1 Italian Prost. It's 143.6 in his first lap with these tires, and then 144.3 for Mark. So Prost, it's almost 1 second faster per lap. Now we're gonna see also what's gonna be the pace of Arbos with the super soft tires. This is going to be the first lap without so many traffic behind him. New tires. Let's see if he can go for the fastest lap. He's pretty faster by now. He's 11.2 seconds from the leader. And let's see, Prost in this lap, 144.0, 144.6 for Mark, and 143.4 for our boss. That is gaining 1/7 of a second in this lap on the race leader. Nikki, do something better, 142.8.
There's an overtake at the end of the main straight from Nicky, which sets the fastest lap, and it's now in pursuit of P11, taking it from Big Shot Player, which, there's a contact, maybe he hit Big Shot with his front wing, so there doesn't seem to be any damage, so they're back in race without any damage.
Well, Nicky is pretty close, but behind them there's a McLaren, and it's the McLaren of Listek 2000. And now look at Nicky! He completely dived himself in the inside of that corner, but when he saw that there was not enough space, he really put his foot totally on the brake to avoid the contact.
Meanwhile, there's still some debris around turn 7 or 11 or 9.
Yeah. These are the debris caused by the collision of the Mercedes of Shalazakwa with the barriers 4 laps ago. And now let's see if Nicky will try to overtake finally Big Shot Player at the end of the main straight. He is very, very close, and it also seems that he is pretty much faster than the Salbert that is right in front of him.
DRS.
Yeah, he opened the DRS, but look at this, he's not so much faster.
going, trying
He
to dive
got some
in,
difficult. Yes, he's trying it
and
inside.
he got the position. He got the position.
P11 now for Nikki. That is one position away from the point zone. The P10 that is now occupied by Davidos. That is the only driver left for the F1 Poland team.
It's not gonna be easy for Nicky. He has to close a gap of 4 seconds with Davidos, but he's pushing.
And also Savastan have overtaken the Force India of Team Fire to reach P4 again. And also the Toro Rosso of Renegade, he's about to catch Team Fire. It's going to be a fight for P5. But Toro Rosso is already close to the Force India. Force India, that is the car that will represent the Waystars driver in this championship. With Renegade that with this Toro Rosso is opening now the DRS on lap 21. I don't think there's gonna be enough distance to try to overtake there, and so he stays behind. Let's see if he's gonna try in the next DRS zone that is right here from the exit of turn 2 to turn 3. It seems like the Toro Rosso is not pretty much faster. We also saw that with the Nikki that have struggled a bit even with the DRS to overtake the Sauber of Big Shot Player. Prost in the meantime still leading the race. And look at this, because our boss with the super soft tire, he's coming right in the back of Mark. I think we're gonna have a battle for P2 very, very soon. Oh, Nicky! Nicky's out!
Nicky's out. We didn't quite see what happened to Nicky, but
let's see. I'm gonna check out what happened. He destroyed the car. He lost his left tires at the exit of turn 6. So it's a fatal crash for the car of Nicky that is out of the race.
Renegade is trying to overtake Tini. They're entering the main straight.
He's gonna have the DRS right now. He just passed the detection zone.
He opens his DRS and he's gonna try to take on the inside. And
let's see if he's gonna make it. And yes, he got it. Yes, he go. Oh, they were pretty close in the exit of the corner, but Renegade make the overtake on Timid Fire, and he reached P5. And there's also our boss, as I told you before, with the super soft tires. He is right at the back of Mark. He is the fastest man on track. Of course, he have also the fastest compound. As you know, Pirelli has brought here super soft tires, and medium tires. These are the 3 tires that have been chosen by Pirelli to be brought right here in Baku for the first race of the championship. We are almost arriving at the first half of the race. We are concluding lap 23 on 51.
And Arbos meanwhile closed the gap between him and Mark, and he's right behind him. He's gonna be under a second if he keeps on that pace.
Oh, Davidos! Davidos is out!
Got out of the session.
Davidos is out. Let's see what happened to his car.
Meanwhile, our boss is trying to overtake Mark, which tries to cover the inside of the... And he succeeds on covering the inside, but it goes out a little bit slower. That was a good defense, which took away from him a lot of...
It was a
Top
fatal
speed.
crash for Davidos, but the safety car didn't come out. Oh, he's trying again. No, he's back behind.
Arbos is fighting so hard for that P2. He's giving all he can.
Well, this is a crucial part of the race because Arbos have a faster tire than Prost, so he have to try to overtake Mark as soon as he can if he wanna set his pace. And by now I think that this fight is going to be crucial for the race. It's Apex Online Racing driver Arbos against F1 Racing driver, that is Mark, fighting for P2 by now. Arbos still very close to the Red Bull. Now the exit of the corner that will launch them to the main straight. In the lap before we saw Mark defending on the inside when Arbos have trying to overtake him. Let's see if he is going to do the same now. And even Arbos, it looks like, no, he don't defend the inside now, so Arbos will have the inside. And it looks like Arbos did it. Arbos reached P2. Let's see if Mark is going to be able to try a new attack on the Sauber driver. But no. So Arbos is on P2, 10.5 seconds from the leader. So now let's see if his pace will still be good to try to catch Prost. Prost, that is the leader of the race since lap number 1. Excluded the part of the race when they made their stop. He is the leader of the race since lap 1. Now Arbos, after that he started the race with a soft compound, he's in P2. But now Prost is on soft tires and Arbos is on super soft tires. Arbos, that is already pulling away the gap on Mark pretty fast, as we are just approaching the first half of the race. We are concluding lap number 25. Let's see if there are some battle behind, but it looks like the position are, every car have a good advantage on the car behind them, so we don't have any battle by now. Still 11 drivers on 16 that start a race, 5 retires by now. So now let's see which is the pace of Prost. That is now, let's check the last lap. It's a 44.4. Arbos is on 43.4, so it's 1 second faster. Let's see if Arbos will continue on this pace during the race. .7 second differential between Prost and Arbos. Let's see if the Sauber will continue to gain on the race leader. Let's see the second sector. Still 9.7. So maybe Prost have decided to push a little bit more. Let's see what's going to happen at the end of this lap. That is the end of lap 26 on 51 programmed on this race. Prost in this lap sets a 1:44.0, Arbos a 1:44.1. So Prost with the soft tires gained 1/10 of a second on Arbos in this lap, which is quite impressive. I also have to take a look to which is the pace of Sebastian that is behind Mark in P4. Sebastian is lapping on a low 44, while Mark is lapping his pace in the last lap. Yes, he's on the 44, low 44 even for him. Mid 44, low 44. So they are pretty on the same pace. Not so many battles by now. The only interesting thing that we have now is to have to take a look at what our boss will do on the super soft tires. He's gaining a little bit now, is 9.3. But let's see. Prost in this lap set 1:44.4. Arbos 1:40. Let's see. 1:43.9. So half a second gain by Arbos in this lap on Prost. Now the new gap is 9.1 seconds. Now I just want to use this part of the race which is pretty calm to talk about some things I didn't have time to talk about during the qualifying session. I was just presenting to the crowd the new teams we had in our championship this year. 4 new teams, as I told you before. These new teams comes from Italy. We have 2 new teams come from Italy. That is Italian VS, that will be represented by the Toro Rosso for all the season, for all the 6 races we're gonna have in this championship, and F1 and racing drivers, which this team will be represented by the Red Bull for in this championship. We also have a new team come from Netherlands, that is Raystar that is represented by the Force India during the championship, and we have Apex Online Racing that will race this championship using the Sauber. So these are the 4 new teams we have in the championship. We reach 8 teams this year. We got 4 teams last year. So we doubled the number of the team who subscribed to the championship, and we are personally pretty proud of that thing, very proud. So I hope that this is going to be a pretty competitive championship. We have teams that come from all over Europe. 3 teams from Italy, 1 team from England, 1 team from Netherlands, 1 team from France, and 2 teams from Poland. So it's a pretty interesting thing to see so many different nationalities represented in only one championship. Yes, it's a championship that is not going to be so long. As you know, 6 races are not so much, but we hope that there is going to be a good competition between the drivers, and a good show for the people who are watching this at home. So for the ones who have just joined us by now, we are in Baku, Azerbaijan. This is the first race of the Formula Europe Championship. We are on lap 29 on the 51 programmed on this race, and the standings by now says that Prost is leading the race in front of our boss. Then we have F1 Racing Mark in P3. The other Ferrari of F1 Italian team, driven by Savasna 94, is in 4th position, followed by Denny 92 in 5th. 6th position for Guy 71, which is the first driver for F1 Simu in this race. Renegade 37 in P7, P8 for Timid Fire on the Force India, P9 for Big Shot Player that had a pretty difficult beginning in this race. He crashed 2 times. He was forced to pit 2 times in the first 5 laps on the race, and now he reached the point zone. He is now on P9, and the last driver who is in the point zone is Libero, that with his Renault is on P10. Then we have Listek on P11. 5 drivers have left the race. 4 drivers for retired. They all 4 crashed their car, and these drivers are Niki, then Niki, Shalazakwa, Banana Man, and Davidos. Then a disqualification occurred to Stig. That was the man who set the fastest lap in the qualifying, reaching the pole position, but he got a crash in the first lap. And then when he tried to rejoin the track, he was disqualified by the game by wrong direction. So back in the race, we are taking a look at the times of Prost and our boss. Our boss that is now, let me check, he is 8.2 seconds away from the leader, and I do believe that now his super soft tires are wearing a little bit more than before. In the last lap, Prost set, let me check the time. In the last lap, Prost still set a 1:44.2 and 1:43.8 for our boss. He gained 4/10 of a second on the leader, and he's trying to give everything that he had by now. Let's see, in the first sector he lost a couple of tenths in the first sector. So as I told you before, it looks like that the super soft tire of our boss are losing a little bit of grip by now. He put on this tire on lap 18, and now we are on lap 30 and 31 by now. So I think that his pit stop is pretty close by now. And now Prost is about to have some lapped cars in front of him. I do believe that it's the McLaren of Listek. Now in this lap, Prost set a 1:44.1 against the 1:44.3 of Arbos. The pace of Prost is still very, very competitive by now. Prost, Arbos is now losing a little bit of time more with his tires. Let's see if Mark is going to try to catch him again, but he's pretty far now. He's 5.6 seconds away from our boss. And then looking at the position behind, we have Gae that with his Renault is about to catch Denny 92 on the Red Bull. Gae that in the last lap on his soft tire set a 45.4 against the 45.5 of Danny 92. They are pretty much on the same pace, but it looks like that in the last lap the Renault driver, the F1 Simu driver, have gained a little bit of time. Another lap, the number 32 concluded by the leader. Prost set a 1:45.6. He maybe made a mistake against the 44.7 of Arbos. His time are constantly going slower lap after lap. And don't forget that Prost have to lap the car of Listag that is right in front of him. Well, we are on lap 33 on 51, but I've also saw a Sauber catched by Libero. Yes, Libero have catched big player and they are fighting for P8. These are important points. Let's see if Libero will try to overtake Big Shot player in the second DRS zone of the track. He lost the rear of his car, and now Libero is pretty close. Let's see if he's gonna do on the outside. Oh yes, he got it. There's not enough space, and Libero goes right into the wall.
Yeah. And we're on board with Listec for the first lapping of the season and for the first blue flags. Is now being lapped by Prost. So he's on DRS zone. Maybe he's gonna try and follow him to reset.
Oh, look at behind, because look at behind the first position, because Gae is just being catched by Renegade 37. Renegade 37 is right at the back of F1 Simu Gae. And let's see if he will be able to overtake the Renault on the main straight. But Gae go to the box. So it's the second pit stop for the F1 Simu driver, and let's see which kind of strategy he's gonna use. I think he's going to, for the laps we still have, I think he's going to go on a super soft tires, and yes he does. So it's a super soft tire to go till the end for Gae. And Libero still fighting with Big Shot that goes in the pit. Big Shot player also in the pit now. Let's see if he's also going to choose super soft tires. And yes, he does it too. Super soft tires for Big Shot player. And Mark have also made his pit stop because he's now in 6th. Mark is 6th, right behind Renegade. And in front of them there's Danny 92. So let's see if in front someone will pit. Prost continue. Our boss do the same. Savastan continue too. So let's see what's gonna happen to the strategy in this phase of the race. Prost still leading with a 7.3 second gap on Arbos. Then we have Savastan that is actually P3, but we have to check him out after his pit stop where he's going to be. Renegade with the soft tire still in front of Mark that is now losing a little bit of time. And that can be a good thing for Savasta, that was far behind Mark. And maybe now he can try to get advantage of the situation by pit one lap later and then gain some second on Mark. Let's see if Prost continues. And yes, Prost goes to the box. Prost in the pit, and I do believe that he is going to go on the super soft tires. Our boss continues, but I do believe that if Prost doesn't make no mistake, he can be the winner of the race, because he goes on super soft tire now, and our boss will surely lose time now. Oh, Renegade! Renegade! Renegade is out! And Mark had the fastest lap with a 1:42.7 on lap 35. Renegade is out of the race. Maybe a crash for him against the barriers. I'm going to check what happened. Yes, fatal crash for Renegade, that is out of the race. He is the 6th driver who retires during this race. And now we have 10 cars on track by now. Lap 36 of 51. Renegade left the session. There are surely some disappointing in the Italian VS team, as both of the drivers retire from the race after a crash. Nicky was the first one to crash, and then he crashed. Renegade 37. Our boss goes in the box. So it's the last stop even for him on lap 36. Surely is going to go on super soft tires. And Prost already passed him. So he's going to be far in front of me, far away from him. And take a look behind them, because Mark is coming with his Red Bull. No, he's still behind. But now they are on the same tires. Let's see if Mark will try to catch again the Red Bull of our boss in this final part of the race. As we know, all the strategies for all the drivers are now complete. So I do believe that there is not going to be any more pit stop for any drivers by now. And Prost is going very fast. I'm sure he is about to set the fastest lap of the race at the end of this one. He's pretty much faster than he was before on the soft tires. And I think he's going to go maybe on a 141. I do believe on a low 42. Let's see what's gonna happen now with Prost going right on the finish line of lap 37. It's a 1:42.2, low 42 for Prost, which had 8.8 seconds on our boss. Mark still in third position, ahead of Sebastian in fourth. Denny 92 is 5th, 6th position for Simu Gaye 71. In 7th we have Big Shot Player, 8th position for Libero, 9th position for Timid Fire, and then in 10th we have Listek on his McLaren. Only 10 drivers remained. So we only have the drivers that are actually in a point position, still in race. Prost then is still gaining time on our balls. He gained 0.2 of a second in the first sector. And another 0.2 of a second in the second sector, so Prost is far much faster than Arbos by now. Let's see if there are some battles behind, but it looks like that the drivers it looks like the position are freeze by now. And Prost have again the McLaren of Listek in front of him. And he is going to have to lap him again. Blue flag showed to Listek. And he put himself aside, leaving Prost freeway in front of him. 12 laps to go of this first race of the Formula Europe 2016 Championship. Prost is leading the race in front of Arbos for Apex Online Racing and Mark for Racing Drivers. Then in 4th we have Sebastian. Danny 92 is 5th with the Red Bull of Racing Drivers. Then in 6th we have the first Simu drivers, that is Guy. 7th position for Big Shot Player for Apex Online Racing. 8th position for Libero for F1 Simu. 9th position for Timid Fire for Race Stars. And then we have Listek on the McLaren in 10th and lapped. I think that Prost lost a bit of time behind the McLaren, as he lost 1 second in the last sector. That is just the sector he got the McLaren in front of him. Arbos 1:42.1. He improves the fastest lap set by Prost. Prost that in the last lap set a 1:42.9. But let's see what's gonna happen when he, now that he have freeway ahead of him. As I told you before, no battles in the around the corner. The drivers are pretty much in control of the race. The positions are freezed by now. And now it's time for Listek to be lapped by Arbos, that now is just right behind him. He's coming. It's lap 40 of 51 here in Baku. Another lap completed by Prost that now have set a 1:42.6 against the one, let me check, against the 1:42.8 of Arbos. that have already lapped the McLaren of Listek. He is 8.5 seconds from the leader. It looks like Prost is now controlling the situation. Well, we still have 10 laps to go. 10 laps to the end of the first race of the season. And for the guys who have joined the broadcast here on our channel by now, I just give you a recap of the standings. Prost for F1 Italian team is leading the race with 8.1 seconds ahead of our boss on the Sauber for Apex Online Racing. Then we have F1 Racing Mark in third position, 13.7 seconds from the leader. Savastan is in fourth. In fifth position, Danny 92 for Racing Drivers. Sixth position for Guy 71 on his Renault for the F1 Simu team. Seventh position for Big Shot Player, even after a very troubled start of the race. He was forced to 2 stops after 2 crashes in the first lap of the race, but he is now 7th, and it's not a pretty bad result. Then we have Libero on P8, in P9, Timid Fire for Race Stars, and in 10, Listek that now made a mistake, he goes wide on the brakes on turn, I do believe that the game disqualified him. Let's see. Well, actually, I don't know. He's continuing the race now. I think it's okay. He's gone wide on in the second corner, and he used the rear gear to rejoin the track. I think that caused the disqualification from the session to Stig, who was the leader of the race before the first corner, and then he got disqualified in the first lap. He set an incredible pole position time. Our boss still in second, trying to catch Prost, but I don't think he's gonna have enough. 8.8 second differential between them two. In the last lap, Prost set... let me check the timetable. In the last lap, Prost set a 1:42.6 compared to a 1:43.3 of our balls. He lost almost 7/10 of a second in one lap. Lap 43 on 51. We are in the final laps of this first race of the Formula Europe Championship 2016, and Prost is leading the way. A pretty strong race with a very strong pace. It seems like Mark, for a racing driver, was his first opponent in the first part of the race, but then after the first stop, Arbos overtaked Mark. He reached P2 and he never left that position. He is the fastest driver on track, second only to Prost. That he is now completing the lap number 43, beginning lap number 44 on 51. 6 laps still to go before the end of these opening races. There are still 5 races after this one, and we're gonna reach some of the most famous track in the world. We're gonna be in Bahrain, then Monza for the 5th race. The final showdown is gonna take place at Spa-Francorchamps. That it surely is going to be a favorite one. No! Big shot player! Big shot player! He is out of the race! He's out of the race! We didn't see where it touched the barriers. Let's see if we can find this car. No, we can find this car. Unfortunately, so there are still 9 cars left. And it seems like the safety car is not going to come out after this crash. So we got 1 safety car after the first lap, and then 1 virtual safety car. But it looks like nothing's gonna happen this time. A safety car can be the only thing in which Arbos can hope for to trying to catch Prost and then have a very tough fight in the final lap of the race. But as I told you before, it seems like the safety car after the crash of Big Player is not going to come out. So we're gonna have free race for this last lap. Prost is still leading. He had a good advantage on Arbos, that is now 9 seconds away in P2. Still in third there is Mark with his Red Bull at 17.7 seconds from the leader. And as I was talking before, Prost have shown a very good pace tonight. By now he's really deserving that victory, but we still have 4 laps to go at the end of this one. And you know that Formula One is one of the sports in the world where the rules of the never say never is obvious. So let's see what's gonna happen when the checkered flag will be shown at the end of the race. Meanwhile, Prost is completing lap number 45. Oh, it goes a little bit wide at the exit of turn 1. But it looks like he's in control of the race. He's still improving his gap on Arbos. Arbos that had lost 0.6 of a second in this lap. He is now 9.6 seconds away from the leader. So Prost is still pushing hard. As you know, sometimes the drivers like to push till the end of the race to avoid any kind of distraction. It's strange, but sometimes it's easier to make a mistake when you're not pushing than when you're giving everything that you have. It's really strange, but for the most of the driver, push every time. It's the only way to try to avoid mistake, especially in tracks like that where the walls are very, very close and the race distance is pretty long. Alessandro, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I just want to ask you your opinion about the race by now. We still have 5 laps to go, but as you know, it's the first time for you with us. Just wanna hear your opinion about the race and an opinion about what you saw tonight.
Yeah, it was a pretty tough race. I mean, with all the disqualified and retired people, but I think that all in all, Prost dominated. So I think he might have led the same race even with more people on the track. It was a brilliant race. He guessed the strategy right. He didn't make any mistake on track, and he was able to set a good pace throughout the whole race. So it was a good race for Prost all in all, and
Yeah.
it was a pretty tense experience, being my first time speaking for a race. So
Are
I'm
you
pretty
gonna?
happy. Yeah.
You just have to practice a little bit. Enter the. You just have to be a part of the machine, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's gonna be. I'm a fast learner, so I'm gonna be a lot more
Yeah,
participating in the next races.
I'm sure. What the big question we have in this race is just one. Yes, we see Prost having the best pace, but the big question we have is Stig the pole man? Yeah, we know that he retired in the first lap, but can he be the real opponent of Prost? But as you know, we didn't saw what his real pace in the race can be. We saw him get the pole position, but that's the big question. Could he be Stig, the real opponent of a very fast driver as Prost is?
I mean, as you said, we only saw the qualifying lap, which was pretty fast, but not that much faster than Prost. So, being that he gave up the first lap, I mean, he didn't finish the race, and he was out so early. We can't really say, but I think it's gonna get in from some pretty exciting action from the next races if he just manages to stay in, even from a little bit more laps.
And the thing that impressed me most is that if there are no mistakes with the tires, he set the pole position on the soft tires, which is a slower compound compared to the super soft tire, and that is the thing that impressed me most. I don't know if it's the same for you.
Excuse me, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, I saw Stig set the pole position on the soft tire. It's the soft compound, which is a slower type of tires compared to the super soft tires, and that is the thing that impressed me most. I don't know if for you it's the same, if you got the same impression of mine.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to set the fastest lap with a soft tire, while Prost was with a super soft in the qualifying. But I think I recall he did more than one lap with the soft tire. So maybe even if it was a harder compound, he was able to get a little bit more of good feelings from the tire in order to go faster during his fast lap. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard to tell without an actual competition during the race which one is going to be the fastest pilot throughout the season. But it's going to be, as I already said, it's going to be exciting. There are going to be surely more duels during the next race.
Yeah, to be honest, I do believe that the fact that we saw Stig starting with the soft tires was just a glitch of the game, because, well, it's if you set that time on the soft tire, you should be one, maybe that's what I think. You should be one of the most fastest driver in the world if you can do that time with a slower compound of tires. That's what I think, Mad. You know, usually that game have some glitches with the tires, so someone can maybe see the soft tires, but in fact that drivers is racing on a different compound of tires.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
I think that in the end it was just a lap on the chip soft, but the game gave out as a lap on the soft tires. So we can't know right now, but we're going to see in the next race, we're going to see in the next qualification phases how the race is going to be set. If the race pace is going to be done with the soft tires or with the super soft, it depends. But I don't think, actually, I agree with you, it could have been very hard to set the fastest lap with just a soft compound.
And I'm just reading now on the chat, and Stig have confirmed to the Formula Europe staff that what we saw at the start of the race was just a tire glitch, so he got the pole position with a super soft tire, so that's is really more understandable.
Yeah, so meanwhile we are getting close to the end of the race. We're at lap 50 out of 51. And the standings are still the same. There's Prost in first position, there's Arbos and Mark in third position, and that's the podium. We're gonna go and say the full standings after the race is ended, in case something happens during this last race.
And Prost is just about to enter for the second last time on the main straight, ready to begin the last lap of the race. We are in the final phases of this opening act of the Formula Europe 2016, and the Ferrari of Prost and of F1 Italian team entering now the last lap of the race. That is lap number 51 out of 51. He got the Force India of Timid Fire right in front of him. I don't know if he would prefer to stay behind him and don't try to overtake the Force India, as we are just in the final lap.
Yeah, unless he's gonna have a really clean overtaking occasion, yeah. I don't think he's gonna risk it.
Yeah. As we were talking about before, the pace set by Prost was really good towards all the race, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen in the next races, because as you know, all the teams will are allowed to choose different drivers through the races. So if they want to change the drivers, they can. So maybe in the next race, F1 Italian team will not going to have Prost as a driver for them, but maybe it's gonna have some other drivers, and same will happen maybe for all the other teams. But Prost is just approaching now the last corners of the track, and he's about to reach the victory of this first race of 2016 Formula Europe. Prost right on the finish line now,
and he's already
25
celebrating
points
on the final main straight.
Yes, he's celebrating on the main straight, and Prost
and
get the checkered flag. Checkered flag for Prost. That is the winner of the first race of the 2016 Formula Europe. In second place we got Arbos, and in third place we got F1 Racing Mark. 2 out of 3 of the teams that will be on the podium comes from Italy. The first one from F1 Italian team, and the second one from Racing Drivers. Only an Apex Online racing driver.
There goes Sebastian.
Yeah. 4th position for Sebastian. Gae finished his race on P5, the first of the F1 Simu driver. He's the first French drivers who reached the checkered flag here in Baku. Then in 6th we should have Danny 92, yes, and his Red Bull reached the check red flag just right now. Libero was in 7th, but he's far away from Danny. He's just right now in the last corners of the track. And then Listek. And now we are just waiting for the drivers who reached the podium to join us right here in the commentary room for this for some post-race interviews. Arbos is already joined us, so we're just waiting for
Libero
Prost.
ends the race in P7.
P7 for Libero, Timid Fire in P8. And yes, these are the final standing of the race, with Prost winning the race in front of Arbos. Then we got Mark in 3rd, 4th place for Savastan, Guy in 5th, 6th position for Danny 92, Libero in 7th, Timid Fire 8th position, P9 for Listek. All the other drivers have retired for the race. So only 9 drivers of the 16 we have so started the race have concluded the race here in Baku. So, as I told you before, we have the drivers who reached the podium right here with us in the commentary room, just for some post-race interview. So Arbos is already here with us. There's also Prost. We are just waiting for F1 Racing Mark to join here, to join us here. Prost, puoi sentirmi?
Ciao, sì, ci sono.
Okay, so Prost is ready. Arbos, you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. So we are just waiting for F1 Racing Mark to join us here in the party. And here it is, we got also Mark, the man who reached P3 at the end of this first race of the 2016 Formula Europe. So I'm starting with Prost. I'm gonna ask him the question in Italian, then I'm gonna translate that. I don't know, Alessandro.
Yep.
Magari faccio io la domanda e te lo traduci.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask to Rosario the question, and then Alessandro is going to translate that for us. Rosario, un'ottima gara in testa dall'inizio alla fine, passo ottimo, sembrata una gara già da metà del secondo stint, quando le super soft di Arbos hanno iniziato a scendere di prestazione. Già da lì sembrava una gara in totale controllo, poi l'undercut di un giro nel finale di gara ha ulteriormente aiutato.
Yeah, so Prost, that was a great race, starting from the beginning. You did a great race of control. You had a great pace throughout the whole race. Then the undercut strategy was a very good move. It looked like that from the second half of the race you were already designed to be the winner. So what are your feelings for this whole race?
Vai.
Sì, una bellissima gara, un'ottima qualifica. Diciamo che con Mattia ci siamo indirizzati più sulla gara per il setup. Abbiamo lasciato perdere un po' la qualifica, però si è riuscito a strappare una bellissima prima fila. E poi ho visto che Stig è già andato via subito alla prima curva. Io avevo un ottimo passo, ero lì a dettare il passo, andavo via, poi tramite le safety car ho gestito un po' la situazione, le virtual safety car. È stato un po' difficile da gestire la gara, diciamo, però poi prendevo quel margine che mi aiutava a dettare il mio passo e stare tranquillo. Però è stata una bellissima gara, una gara un po' stressante perché qui i muretti sono molto ma molto vicini e ogni tanto dava qualche colpetto il muretto.
So it was a beautiful race. I was able to focus on the race mainly. We didn't quite look for the setup for the qualifications, but then after I was able to get on the first row, I saw that Stig got out on the first turn, so I was able to try to escape. I was able to set the pace, and thanks to the safety car, I was able to relax and then to try and set the pace again. It was a beautiful race, but also it was very stressing because the walls are very close, and sometimes it just looked like it was about to crash into the walls.
Okay. Thanks, Prost. We go to our boss. Very solid race. We see you start with the soft tires, and then you change with a double super soft tires for the second half of the race. Maybe you were hoping to something more, trying to catch while you're trying to catch Prost in the phase where he was on soft tires and you were on super soft tires.
Well, he had a lot of pace. I wasn't expecting to be faster than him anyway. So to be keeping up there with the top runners was still a bit of a surprise for me. And yes, as you noted, I did start on the soft tires. I tried to do something different, and the plan was to one stop from there, but the virtual safety car came out at a perfect time for me, and it really helped my race a lot, as I was able to rejoin only in fourth position, and then I was on the super soft and everyone else was on the soft, as you say. But yeah, Prost just very fast, and congrats to him, a very dominant win, just maintaining the gap.
Thank you, bro.
So you were saying that the strategy was just one stop? Your strategy?
Yes, but
okay.
I switched to two stop because of the virtual safety car.
Yeah.
I saw that as an opportunity to make my pit stop, and I couldn't stretch the super softs that long. I pit on lap 17, I think.
Ok, perfect. Quindi non che la risposta di Arbos è stata non che lui si aspettasse di essere più veloce di Prost. Originariamente la sua strategia era una strategia che prevedeva super soft in partenza, buona gestione e da lì solamente un pit stop passando alle super soft nella fase finale, quindi una strategia ad alta gestione delle gomme. Poi la virtual safety car gli è venuta in aiuto perché nello stesso momento si stava accorgendo che le gomme potevano non reggere, la virtual safety car lo ha aiutato, è rientrato e da lì ha modificato la sua strategia passando a due pit stop, facendo quindi le due stint di super soft nel finale. Il passo di Prost però, come detto prima, era decisamente molto elevato, non c'era modo in quel momento di prenderlo. Ovviamente fai complimenti a Prost per il passo gara decisamente meritata. Passiamo a F1 Racing Mark. Thank you, Arbos. I'm gonna be back to you soon. Just a question to F1 Racing Mark. Mark, allora una buona gara. Nella prima fase di gara ti avevamo visto come primo rivale di Prost. Sembravate molto vicini, poi fino a che sei stato nella zona di DRS, poi abbiamo visto Prost allungare di passo. Non so se forse è complice anche una tua usura gomme forse un po' più accentuata, e poi dopo il sorpasso di Arbos nella parte centrale della gara, posizioni tutto sommato cristallizzate.
Sì, allora innanzitutto complimenti a Prost perché comunque ha fatto una grandissima gara. All'inizio noi, a differenza sua, abbiamo provato a puntare più sulla qualifica che in gara. Purtroppo per via del...
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for my cue, but I didn't have time to.
Okay, sorry.
So, no, it's nothing. You led a good race from the start. It looked like you were the one that was about to fight with Prost for the first position, but then after the overtake from Arbos, the positions were pretty much fixed. So, tell us about your race.
Posso? Allora,
sì.
dicevo innanzitutto complimenti a Prost, passo completamente differente rispetto a tutti. Inizialmente ci ho provato, però poi penso che la differenza di setup si è notata anche nell'ultimo settore dove lui aveva molta più velocità, e fino comunque il risultato ottimo per me, non me lo aspettavo questo podio, puntavo metà gruppo comunque in su. E complimenti anche al secondo classificato. Ho provato un undercut nel finale, ma purtroppo unica nota negativa è stato il comportamento dell'Italian Versus, del pilota Italian Versus, adesso Renegade se non sbaglio, nel rettilineo mi ha chiuso a muro, abbiamo avuto un contatto, lui si è ritirato, lì ho perso un po' e l'undercut non è riuscito per mezzo secondo, perché comunque uscendo davanti penso che avrei un po' lottato, anche se lui a parità di gomma aveva anche un altro passo, quindi ho spremuto tutto, ma più di così non si poteva fare, quindi complimenti ai primi due, va bene così.
So I was pretty happy, pretty content with the result of the race, because from the start I tried with a different setup from Prost, but in the end he was way much faster in sector 3. And then I got in a little bit of a bagarre with Renegade, and when I tried to undercut, but we both went to wall because I think that was a bad way of behaving from Renegade, which took me out. But all in all, I'm happy with the result, and I want to congratulate with the first two pilots, and I hope I will be able to race again and to fight again for P1.
Okay, perfect. So I do believe that there are no more questions from the chat and from the people who are following us. So we just have enough for tonight. The race was pretty long, and I'm sure that the drivers want go to do something different now. That's what I think. Anyway, it's all for tonight. So I want to thank the drivers that have been with us tonight after the race. So I thank Arbos, Prost, and Mark to stay here with us tonight after the race. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Then thank you to Alessandro, who's been my sparring partner here tonight, and he helped me in some situation during the race, and especially now in the final phases and in the post-race interview. So thank you so much, Alessandro. You've been very precious to us.
Occasion. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Then thanks for the organization. Thank you to Bandy, who streamed the race and who's been our director during the live broadcast. So I don't know the next race. I don't remember the calendar, but I do believe that the next race is in Bahrain, 1 month away from today, if my mind is right. I gotta take a check just in a few seconds. Anyway, as I told you before, thanks to everyone, and we'll see you for the next race, always here on our Formula Europe official channel. Just follow us, just click on the subscribe to our channel, and then there's nothing more to say. Just checking out when the next race is going to be, to inform all the guys that are following us tonight. I'm just checking out. Okay.
20 April in una sacred.
20 of April.
Yeah.
So next race, 20 of April, less than 1 month from today, 20 days from today. And then there's nothing more to say. So thank you to watch us tonight. Thank you for your support. And we'll see you next time for the next race, April 20, live from the Secure Circuit in Bahrain. Thank you so much, guys, and good night to everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Bye.
Bye bye.